So, Cory, you know all about this company. In the Model S from Tesla, and they're going to be in the BMW. Is this a good deal?
It's certainly an expensive deal. Mobileye's got about $350 million in revenue, as you just said, about $15 billion price tag. Enterprise value about $14.7 billion in cost, and this all-cash acquisition by Intel. But it's obviously a very big effort for Intel to go towards this assisted driving market. They call them self-driving cars. I don't know if we're ever going to see a self-driving car, but assisted driving is really interesting. And I think it also represents this change in computing. You know, Intel really missed out on mobility, and they really missed out on mobile phones when they were so focused on the PC and the single-digit growth or the single-digit shrinkage in the top-line numbers for the PC business. The data center business and the PC business is still the largest source of both revenues and certainly profits for Intel. But under Brian Krzanich, the CEO of Intel, the company has really been focused on finding new markets to put loads and loads of chips, not just the very few expensive CPUs that characterize the PC era. And they're focused on not just mobile phones and smartphones, but they're really thinking about Internet of Things, and the biggest of those things are cars. Mobileye is a leader in the car semiconductor market, and I think Intel just recognized that this is a company that is a well-run company, enormously profitable for what it is, but maybe more importantly, a technology leader in this assisted driving market.
So, Cory, you say it's a leader in the assisted driving market. Is this a market that in all likelihood will come up with one or two standards, sort of like VHS and beta? And is this Intel's gamble that this will become the standard for the industry?
I think that we're going to talk to Brian Krzanich later today, and I think that's a question I will put to him, and I'll pass on a little bit. I'll give you a push. But right now, the characteristics of semiconductors in automobiles is that there are just boatloads of them, but they're cheap. They're more like sensors than really smart CPUs. And so the dollar content of semiconductors inside of cars isn't great, but more importantly, the individual chips are just not very clever. There are lots of them, but this central CPU, the big calculations that again are part of your smartphone, that are part of your PC, cars are just starting to have that kind of thing. The expectations are going to have lots of that going on, but also they're going to gather a lot of data, send it to the cloud, send it back. But for some of the data, it's got to happen on board. It can't be used, as our phones don't have to get a lot smarter because you can use Snapchat or you can use Pokemon Go, and the calculations are happening upstream, they're happening on the cloud. That doesn't work in a car. In a car, you've got to have instant calculations happening in the car, and more calculations. The cars are supposed to use those sensors, gather data, both visual and through other means, about what's happening around the car. That happens in real time. It's a lot more calculations, it's a lot more silicon, and a lot more profits to be had by the semiconductor industry.